Hey, what's up, everybody? Sev here, bringing you some more Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary. Just wanted to provide a little bit of help and insight to some people, both in my guild and on my arena shard, on how to run Traya lead in arena. There might be videos on this out there already, but I have had several people ask me, how do I make this squad work? And how do I need to mod these characters? What's going to be the best way to ensure I win on offense and hold on defense? So that's really what I'm going to be working towards today. And it's not going to be a super long video, but I'm just going to go over the characters that I use, why I use them, and then any particular strategy for mods and how to best to do that, and then also kill order, who to put what debuffs on, etc. So anyways, let's get into the characters, and let me find a squad here I can battle. This JTR guy is in my payout, so I'm not going to hit him, but alright, we can do Keepy here in a moment. So this is a squad that I use. Dual Zeta, Traya lead. Obviously I used the trio with her then because they're awesome, so we'll get into them, but let's go ahead and start with her. So working towards 7 stars. I've had to zero quite a few of our recent heroic Sith raids, so shards are slow going. But if you had wondered if her Zeta leadership is good, it is. I think it's fantastic. There are a few teams that can beat Palpatine lead with Traya through some pretty easy cheese, whether that is you have Rex lead you can run with Wampa and Mother Talzin. That works really well. There is OP Han. Obviously he's good because he can stun somebody immediately at the start of the battle. And then you also have the speed of droids when you run JTR with BB-8, so like it can happen. Really, Rex lead can make it work, but why her leadership, especially with the Zeta, is so good. And let's see, right here, when an enemy starts right here, so her leadership, critical avoidance and potency, that's awesome for JTR, OP Han, any rebels if they're around. Like Danger Zone really easily took out Emperor Palpatine lead with Traya because you could just get to Traya and take her out. But she provides Sith with critical avoidance and then potency. Potency is kind of negligible, but the critical avoidance is nice. And then when a debuffed enemy takes damage, all Sith allies recover 10% health. So if you do have Mother Talzin, or you are trying to cheese this team, you could have, Traya trying to take her out quickly in the red. And, if you have a debuffed enemy taking damage, all Sith allies recover, this health, and it just brings them right back into the game. So, but the Zeta here, when an enemy uses an ability outside of their turn, they take damage equal to 35% of their max health. And then when an enemy gains a buff outside of their turn, they lose 50% offense until the end of their next turn. So this is really good versus teams with buffs. Obviously JTR uses buffs, Rex uses buffs, but only the one with tenacity up. But if you run with OP Han, obviously he provides evasion up, critical chance up, critical damage up, pretty much if there's any buffs going around. And then the 50% offense is no joke. I have had OP Han like crit my team for like 3,000 damage, which is like nothing, because he got a bunch of buffs, lost a bunch of offense, and with the if he crits, it's like 3k, but if he doesn't crit, it's like hits for nothing. It's so great against some of these current teams. Now, her Zeta leadership is slower than Palpatine's, so Palpatine squads can beat Traya squads, but you still need good RNG and need to do the right kill order and things like that. Obviously your unique Zeta is awesome. At the start of each Sith ally's turn, she dispels all debuffs on them. The health loss is not a big deal. Obviously she gets stacking offense, so she hits like a truck every time Nihilus or Scion are critically hit. So she's a really great character, easily the best character in the game right now in the current meta. She's incredibly strong. She's a support, yeah, but she hits incredibly hard. So how I have her modded, what I would say would be ideal is if you had a really fast offense set. So you could run a 4-piece offense set and really maximize. She does special damage. So mine only has 5192. Man, if you get that over 6k, she would just hit so hard. I don't have, I think my fastest offense set is like 110 maybe. And I just feel like it's too slow, and speed is everything right now, obviously. So I just have a really fast mod set on her. Obviously I got the speed set, you know, speed arrow. That's got a ton of offense though. I did that on purpose. Speed there, again, more offense. This is speed. This is just straight up tanky speed right there. And then again, more offense, more speed. So you got the offense primary with the offense secondary. And then here, you know, more speed. Yeah, I was running an offense triangle on her and she hit even harder, but I don't know. It didn't seem to do enough to justify losing the protection I lost with it. So, but it got her to 257 speed. So obviously, you know, that is pretty quick. And oftentimes, you know, she goes soon after my Grand Admiral Thrawn. And it's nice getting isolate up on a character that I need to right away. So, her kit, I mean, her basic is amazing. She dazes for 2 turns. And then if there's any debuffs on any allies, she applies it to that enemy. So like if you've got, let's say you had an OP Han that, you know, stunned one of your characters and you got ability blocked by, you know, whoever, and maybe you're fighting against Jedi or something with Old Ben, you know, it could be anything. When she hits with this basic, she applies all of the debuffs from your team onto that target. So it can stun. So in addition to daze, it could stun, ability block, put offense down, etc. So, and then if any debuffs are inflicted, it reduces the cooldown of Saber Storm by 1. Saber Storm is her big ability. She deals special damage. Tenacity down is like whatever. But if she has full health, it strikes a second time, and then applies ability block. And then if the target is buffed, it deals damage a 3rd time, and then inflicts healing immunity. So it can't be evaded, so it goes right through foresight. But this attack, I would say, averages hitting for like 12 to 20k, depending on where her offense is stacked from her unique. And then, you know, if it hits all 3 times, she can often just take out a tune. Like, if you got a squishier tune, like Palpatine's only got like 55,000, you know, health and protection, and you might think, oh, he's pretty healthy. If he's buffed with offense up from his AoE, and she's gonna hit 3 times, she can just kill him outright. It's awesome. Then, of course, isolate. You dispel all buffs on the target, increase their cooldowns by 1. They're isolated, which means they can't interact or provide any buffs to the team or receive any buffs from the team, and then she can reduce a target ally's cooldowns by 1, and then they get protection up. And I just want to say, with protection up, it's different than max protection. Protection up is based off of your max health. So the more health you have, the more bonus you get with that. It's not 50% like bonus to your protection. So if you have 20,000 protection, it doesn't give you 10,000. It's based off your health. So if you had 20,000 protection and 30,000 health, let's say, it would give you 15,000 bonus protection. So that's just kind of how that mechanic works. Isolate, you can kind of see what it does there. I kind of went over it. Obviously, it's good in raid. You probably heard of Critolite, and there's other cool things you can do with it. But so that's Traya. Make her fast. Make sure she hits hard. Sith Trooper. So the reason I use Sith Trooper, I was using General Kenobi for a while, and you know, with the OP Hans, and you know, there was a few JTRs, you had CLS here and there. The crit immunity was really nice. However, if they do get crit, it like buffs all of the trios uniques. My problem was General Kenobi would spend like the entire fight stunned. So with Sith Trooper being a Sith, it just made sense to run him instead. That way, if he was stunned or whatever, all the buffs get cleared by Treya's unique Zeta. So, you know, he's really tanky. He applies offense down. He gets defense up. You know, with defense up, I remember OP Han hitting him for like 800 once, like because he got offense down, or the reduced offense from her leadership and all that. Like, it's just crazy. But he's slow. He's a very slow tune. His base speed is 98. So A speed set doesn't add a whole lot. It adds 9.8 speed, which is something. But, you know, I kind of just went for as much speed and protection as I could give him. So this is speed, but a huge secondary in protection. The speed there, you know, speed and protection, the speed and protection, and then more speed and protection. So trying to get him as fast as possible because he's a slow character, and if he's debuffed for too long, he won't take enough turns to cleanse himself. But you know, we need him to be cleansed, especially if it's buff immunity, so we can you know, have him get the taunt back up. So it doesn't really do a whole lot. He does cut through protection if he with his unique there, but you know, it's negligible. He's just really there to take hits and keep them busy. So Grand Admiral Thrawn needs no introduction. Everybody knows what this guy does. I'm trying to get some Gear 12 Plus pieces on him, and I'm working on it, but he's just not there yet. But again, you just want him fast. So I got mine at 288. When I get my Gear 12 Plus pieces on him, he'll be 300, which will be insane. But, you know, kind of the same thing, just as much speed as possible. And then if you're like, oh my gosh, you have all these amazing mods, like what the F? These are like, half of these mods are from the mod shop. I buy mods and refresh from the mod shop like daily. And you can see I'm low on credits. I mean, I spend so many credits upgrading mods. And I'm kind of regretting the new mod changes because you're less likely to get speed rolls, but I want to take advantage of it as much as I could before the mod changes took place. So he's hella fast. So Cyan, great character, probably doesn't need an introduction, but you know, I got both his Gear 12 Plus pieces, so he's really tanky, really fast, he hits really hard. He crits for 50 to 60k often with his special when Held by Hatred is up, and his basic will crit for 25, 30k. So I mean, he's a monster. Got the unique Zeta, of course, so we get Pain out and give him taunt. Same thing, went for speed on this guy, so 266. He's incredibly fast. And you know what, I spread my fast mods out. You know, like I could get some of these guys faster, but I like getting everybody faster as opposed to having one or two characters faster. But you know, speed, protection, speed and protection there. Potency is negligible. You know, speed and protection. Crit damage, because he's going to crit a lot with Held by Hatred, so that's important. That's got speed on it. And then, you know, again, this is offense. So, you know, you can see the, you know, the trend here. And then the last character, obviously, is Darth Nihilus. So, I got one Gear 12 Plus piece on him. He's a slow character, so trying to get him up in speed is obviously important. Mine's got the unique Zeta. The health down is a big deal. It's a 25% reduction in health, so it has its pros and cons. Again, kind of the same thing. You know, speed, got some extra health and protection, and, you know, speed, more speed. Yeah, so this is the mod I used to have on Treya, but kind of switch things around. Anyway, so he's 241, which is pretty quick for Dark Nihilus. The Whale on my shard, his character is even way faster than this, but so that's the team. So let's get into this battle, and let me kind of walk you through what I do, how I win. We'll go from there. All right, so Thrawn, 288. He's pretty fast, so he's going to go first. What a lot of people tend to do is, especially if you don't have Treya, is to fracture Cyan. Well, because I'm running 4 Sith, it's not a problem. I don't ever have pain, so I don't have to worry about it. So what I want to do is, I want to prevent Treya from isolating, or I want to prevent DN from increasing cooldowns. So either the two ways I'll go about it are I'll either fracture Treya or Cyan, but because my I'm sorry, Treya or Nihilus, but because my Cyan and Nihilus are so fast, I typically find if I fracture Treya first, just get it over with. And the enemy Cyan's usually going to go because of the debuff. So here I can increase cooldowns. Cyan obviously gains turn meter when Treya or Nihilus get debuffed. So his cooldowns are increased, but that's no problem. And I'm going to try to kill Thrawn first. He's a non-Sith, so any debuffs I stick on him aren't going anywhere. Now, Cyan, we don't want him to go off his Annihilate. So you immediately want to isolate him. And then I give my Nihilist the cooldown reduction. Alright, so we'll go ahead and do the AoE, get offense down. Now this will be cleansed, but, you know, it's a debuff. And it's obviously, it's going to stick to Thrawn there. So you can see, like, Trooper just, like, he's a tanky guy. Just takes hits like a boss. Okay, so Saber Storm's up. There's no buff on Thrawn, so it's only going to hit twice, but there'll be 2 good-sized hits. Alright, so 1 for 13 and 1 for 18. So she hit for about 30k. So you can see Thrawn's about to die, and he's got, you know, ability block. Can't do anything, and he's dead. So now my Annihilate's going to go off. So Thrawn's the only one that can't get through pain, no problem. So what I'd like to do next is, if you're concerned about the other Nihilists going off with Annihilate, go ahead and, you know, annihilate him. But you can see here, my Sith Trooper has ability block, shock, daze, all this stuff. If I hit Nihilus with Treya's basic, all those debuffs are going to apply on him. So there you go. So I don't need to worry about him getting Annihilate off. He's fractured, can't gain turn meter, etc. So I would either annihilate Scient or Treya. Now, just, you know, you can go either way about it. Obviously, he's got the Held by Hatred buff, so he needs to be killed twice or annihilated. Not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and just take him out. But if you annihilated Treya, that would be, you know, just fine and completely understandable. All right, so we get our Held by Hatred. So he doesn't have pain. Palpatine doesn't have pain, but he's the next squishiest target. Don't have to worry about Nihilus. Got ability block. You know, he's shocked. He's not getting a turn meter, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of, who am I give this back to? Just give it back to Treya. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and we're going to have to slow that down. Obviously, Sith Trooper had buffs, and because of how I've been hitting these other tunes, she's gaining stacking offense, but that was insane because he is crazy tanky. We're definitely going to go back and look at that. Alright, so I mean, this is, you know, I can put this on auto. And typically I would say, whoops, I wanted to auto Treya. I could just hit auto with untargeted. Oh yeah, see that saber there hit 3 times because she had the speed up on her. So my Nihilus got Isolate. Isolate is so good of a debuff. Let's see what kind of crit we can get here. So 28k basic on crit, and then 43k on the special. And Nihilus is so tanky with the bonus health, so that's it. Normally I don't really lose anybody, but that's how the battles go. And I can do a couple more here, just for you to watch without commentary, but that's typically it. You can see I'm only battling from 10, so I would say most days I don't find myself dropping too low. Normally I'm in like that 10 to 15 range, but it's a good team. I don't lose to JTR unless I have bad RNG. There are a couple squads like Fenris here, like there's a couple that run a really fast Gear 12 Nest. That can be pretty challenging, but it's still easy for me to come back and win those fights on offense. I'm sure on defense, you know, they crush me. But, you know, the Palpatine leads can win, but Treya and the trio, they're a difficult squad to beat. So if you're going to get fought, they need to have good RNG. But you can see how I run that squad, why I mod the way that I do. If I were going to do anything differently with mods, like let's say you don't have a bunch of good speed sets, or you just don't have good, like an actual speed set with speed secondary, I would say go ahead and just give Nihilus like fast mods, and maybe give him like a couple health sets if you had it. For Scion, he gets bonus defense from his unique, so and then I think Held by Hatred gives him bonus defense too, or something like that. And obviously Sith Trooper does, so I would give Sith Trooper and Scion maybe like a 2-piece defense set, and then you could do health set, you could do tenacity set. Scion with his stacking offense and stuff, you could do an offense set, you could do a crit damage with crit chance set. You know, Treya, like I said, you could run an offense set. Grand Admiral Thrawn, maybe tenacity with some health or something. So I mean, you don't have to run speed sets, but I run speed sets. I've been farming speed sets like crazy, and I pretty much only buy speed set mods from the mod shop unless it's a gold or purple mod that already has 5 speed on it. Then I'll buy that. Just in the last couple of weeks, I had, I think, 3 purple mods that rolled speed 3 times, so they ended up being like 18, 19 speed. So it's possible, but I've been through hundreds and hundreds of mods that were bad before I get these mods that are good. So anyways, I'm going to leave this video here, at least for the commentary part. I'll do a couple more battles here, so you can kind of see some different squads, and you know, like this one here that has Sith Trooper, I can do that one, and then you know, just give you guys an idea of what that looks like, and then we are going to go back and look at that hit on Sith Trooper. But appreciate you watching. I hope this is helpful. Leave a like, comment. I reply to every comment. Feel free to subscribe. I'll try to get more content out. It's been a really busy summer for me, but you know, appreciate you guys always connecting with me and watching these vids. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll catch you later.